In this problem, it's asking us to solve. You decide to put your tax return into a savings account instead of spending it. Your tax return was $1,500 and your savings account's interest rate is 2% compounded annually. How much will that $1,500 grow into after 10 years? A few things we want to pay attention to as we start this problem. First thing is that this is a one-time deposit. In future classes, math courses, other courses, you may find that you're doing multiple deposits into an account, and that's going to use a different formula than we're going to use here. Another thing to pay attention to here is that it's 2% is the interest rate compounded annually. Compounding annually means they are calculating and paying the interest once a year. Again, in future courses, you may find problems that ask that give you a compounding interval that's more often than annually. In this case, again, this formula is used for compounding annually. So this formula up here, a equals p times 1 plus r to the t power, is used for a one-time deposit where the interest is compounding annually. So we're ready to go here. We just need to figure out what we know and what we want to know. Well, we want to know what a is. We want to know the resulting amount in the investment or the loan after the time period has passed. We want to know what a is. We already know what p is. P is the principal amount, the initial amount we're putting in, the one-time deposit. That's going to be our $1,500. R is going to be the interest rate. Interest rates are usually given as percentages. We want to change that to a decimal before we begin to do our calculations. And then time is going to be 10. So interest rate is given in terms of an annual interest rate. And so we want our years, our time to also be in terms of years because the interest is in terms of years. So we're ready to go here. We're just going to write our formula. A equals P 1 plus r to the t and substitute our values in. So we're going to put a equals 1,500, 1 plus 0.02 to the 10 power. If you've gotten this far, you're almost there. We just need to make sure we do the correct order of operations from here on out. Order of operations tells us to always start inside the parentheses first before anything else. So I'm going to say a equals 1,500 times 1.02, because I've added those two together, to the 10 power. The next thing with the order of operations tells us to do the exponent next. We got to raise the base to the exponent as our next step. So again, I'm going to do that here. 1,500, 1.02 to the 10 power. We'll use our calculator for that. 1.02 to the 10 power is 1.218994442. You might be tempted to round this number because it's pretty long to 2 decimal places, but I want to note here, although we will round our final answer to 2 decimal places, it's important not to round to 2 decimal places while in the earlier steps of the problem. If we want our final answer to be very accurate, we can't round these earlier steps. We want our final answer to be accurate. So we're going to save the rounding until the end. So our final thing we're going to do now is multiply 1,500 with our big long decimal right there. And what we're going to get is 1828.49163. And now we're ready to round. Because money is usually rounded to decimal places, that's what we're going to do. Our final amount is $1,828.49.